All right, family. We black again. You already know what it is. It's the general, and this is Naga News Network, and man, we broadcast 24/7, spitting these facts, spitting this truth to the people. Make sure you click the link at the top of the chat. Get over there to Patreon. We got 5 tiers of mind blowing videos, exclusive videos for you. Cannot view them nowhere else on the internet other than Patreon. You must have these videos, over 600 exclusive videos. So check it out, family. Today we're gonna be talking about, did the Chinese break the U.S. blockade on the Strait of Hormuz? Brother, brought that to my attention earlier, and one boat may have gotten through. You know what I'm saying? And skirting it down a coastline so close that a motherfucker probably picked it up and walked half the way on land and put it back in the water where nobody could see their ass. So, man, yeah, some of these quote unquote achievements that the other side is making ain't even worth my while, even talking about. One damn ship ain't no more got through. What one ship gonna goddamn do? It's you talking about probably hundreds of thousands of ships move through every day. So China need 88 million barrels a day. Ain't no one damn ship gonna do that. So even if they did get one goddamn ship out, they gonna need way more than that. And but this and a lot of time, and you can see the whole world is against, damn near, damn near. NATO ain't riding with the U.S. And that ain't nobody riding with the U.S., man. Just real talk. And that's how sometimes you just have to. That's how you gotta ride. That's how you gotta ride. If you got to ride by your damn self, then take that, because the spoils of war gonna be all yours. You feel what I'm saying? The spoils of war, and people see that you a ride for you. When people think you need their ass to achieve something, and they want to cripple you and anchor you down from doing that shit. So where NATO couldn't deal with Iran, the United States could. When NATO couldn't deal with Vladimir Putin, the United States could. You see, when NATO couldn't deal with Xi Jinping, the United States could. And so, when you weak like that, just like this guy, president of Spain, who was very weak, crying to the Chinese, where they have to plead for another nation who more, is more leaning toward being an enemy than a friend, because the same man that they claim they fighting over in Russia, Vladimir Putin, is probably China's closest ally. But y'all over there whining to Xi Jinping. That's just like Marty. I seen Marty kind of then got quiet a little bit. He ran over there crying, on Xi Jinping's shoulder, after China and India been having all these issues. They land disputes, and they even got into it physically, where they soldiers got into it, and I think China beat up India. They was going back and forth, but ultimately, my understanding, China beat India up. Shit, beat them up. And so then you turn around after you get into it with the United States and go run to Xi Jinping. That these nations out here real unmanly. And that's exactly what the Prince of Saudi Arabia did under the Biden administration when they rebuked him for killing the journalist Khashoggi, and so he wanted to. He was in his feelings, and and so he started being buddy buddy with Iran and Russia. And I'm thinking, you soft man, you didn't ran to your enemies. You understand? Cause your feelings is hurt. You the one did that shit, man. You did it in front of the world too. And so everybody know you did it, but you thinking people not going but I guess he felt like the United States supposed to be his ally, that he understood a lot of people was gonna rebuke him, but I don't think he figured the United States was gonna rebuke him. And so he went over there to I and I'm thinking to myself, Iran and Saudi Arabia been down enemies for the last 1,500 years. Now all of a sudden that was a weak move that he did. That was a weak move that he did, the Prince of Arabia. That was weak, you know. And then you see that Iran is bombing the shit out of Saudi Arabia right now. Has Russia told asked Iran to stop bombing Saudi Arabia? No. So that I seen that early on. I say that was the fakest move they could have did, Saudi Arabia. And so the moves that the United States is doing has gotten these nations running to their own enemies, looking for a handout, man. This is real out here, you know. You know, United States is rearranging the board again. You feel me? And so, a lot of people's is up in arms about everything. But at the end of the day, let's see where at the end of this race, see who crosses the finish line first. And then, goddamn it, I'm gonna say, I told you so. I told you so. And so China ain't gonna bust no damn blockade. China can't even get the damn United States out the South China Sea. Let's stop this noise. Let's stop all this fakery. I mean, you know what I'm saying? United States been over there holding it down in China's front door for damn near 65 years. Shit. Ain't got the US out his front door yet. They over there locked and loaded on their ass. And so how in the hell you gonna get them out of the Persian Gulf when you can't even get them out the South China Sea? That don't make no sense to me. So Xi Jinping need to stay his ass over there. You had the opportunity to talk to Iran. You should have told Iran run that damn uranium for this shit get ugly. But you tried to, China and Russia want to use Iran, and when they get bombed all the fuck up, they ain't got shit to say. China was over there quiet. The only reason China came out is because Black Power, family. The only reason China came out and said something because they put that goddamn blockade up there and cut their damn oil off. But while the strait was open and they was still getting their oil, they was bombing the shit out of Iran. China wasn't really saying shit. They wasn't really saying shit. They wasn't saying nothing. Long as see that just show you how fake they is. They using Iran. They ain't really, you know what I'm saying? They using Iran. China ain't been saying a damn thing. Russia neither. They ain't been saying shit. The hell, soon as you cut that goddamn oil off, then you want to step up and try to be a leader. Yeah, when your shit get cut off, then you want to step up and be a leader. So Xi Jinping is, it's a lot of turmoil going on in China right now, economically, and then he just had to fire his top military man because they over there plotting on his ass. He over there talking about loyalty in the military and in the government because it's a lot of people over there that's trying to go against Xi Jinping. And it's like I said, his top man in the military, he just had to fire his ass. and he probably had to fire a whole lot more motherfuckers. So, they in there trying to undermine Xi Jinping. So he's trying his best to balance, his internal difficulties and challenges to be coming over to the Persian Gulf, make them tap and get that goddamn uranium out there quickly so we can get this shit over. That's all China got to do. We don't need your leadership. Tell Iran to get that motherfucking uranium and have that shit at the front door when we pull up, motherfucker, and put that shit on the back of the truck. And let's get the hell on up out of here. That's the only answer. That's the only answer. So China can come over. We don't, you don't need no plan from China because China already been trying to deliver uh, 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 armaments and artillery to Iran. So this is a proxy war, and so your little homie didn't got pumped, and you really didn't do nothing. Until your oil got cut off, now you want to, come in and want to be a diplomatic leader when you ain't been saying shit. Just go on back on over there to Beijing and chill, go on and chill. We gonna take care of this over here. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, we black. Yeah, they already know. China don't want no smoke. China trying to figure out that Taiwan shit, which they can't figure out. Which they can't figure out. You know what I'm saying? Which they can't figure out. So yeah, so they hoping, they're gonna push Iran, but I heard some shit that come out of China mouth talking about Iran run the Strait of Hormuz. I say, what? Man, they gonna have to tell China go sit they United States watch. Before it's all said and done, I believe United States gonna end up saying something to China. Like, man, go and sit your motherfucking ass down somewhere. Well, you ain't relaying no orders over here, man. Ain't nobody running this shit. This is an international waterway. Ain't nobody running shit. Nah, if that see China on some crazy shit. They trying to strong arm the Straits of Hormuz. That's really what and trying to do it through through Iran. China is trying to strong arm the Strait of Hormuz through its proxy Iran, and that's not going to work. It's critical for China because over 40% of China oil come through the Persian Gulf. And China is really, when it comes to like gas and oil, and China is poor in that resource. So they have to solely depend on others for gas and oil, solely depend on. So, for the United States to take over, the Strait of Hormuz, and that's detrimental. You really putting China in its place, taking Venezuela and the damn Persian Gulf. Motherfuckers, and they know what he doing. That's why they whining. That's why the Europeans whining because they're gonna have to bow down too, just like the rest of them. It ain't gonna be long, man. It ain't gonna be long. It'll be a couple. It'll be a couple more. In 2 weeks, you gonna see this shit might be over in 2 weeks. Yeah, this shit might be over in 2 weeks. This ain't gonna last long. I guarantee you that. They ain't gonna want that blockade up there too much longer. You understand? I'm quite sure within the next week, this shit might be over with. It might be over with. Well, I appreciate y'all, family. I'm gonna see y'all a little later. Get over there to Patreon, click that link at the top of the chat. Get the binging on that Black Power. Once you get started, you ain't gonna stop because it's a lot of exclusive, high power information over there. I'll see y'all in a minute, family. Black Power.